Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome to the Broken Tables podcast. This is episode number 31. I am your host, Jeffrey Vegas, here with my co-host, Rome. How you doing tonight, man?
Doing great.
Awesome. It feels nice to be doing this early, you know?
Yeah, so I know that like Tony Khan and probably Warner as well, they're probably like experimenting with these time slots because of the playoffs. And um, you know, I think 5:30 is a little too early.
A little bit.
So like I really like the 7:30 spot that they did a few weeks ago. I thought that was perfect. But or maybe it was 8 o'clock. I think it was eight. I don't remember. It was like a 7 or 8 o'clock show, I think. No, it was probably seven. Yeah, it was seven. Um, but like the 5:30 Eastern, 2:30 Pacific, that was a little too early. Like I was home for it, but like I didn't have time to get to my TV in time. I ended up
Yeah.
starting Rampage late, even though I was home, because it's like haven't seen the wife because we were both at work, so talking to her, got ready for dinner, and next thing I know, it's like 7 o'clock, and I haven't watched Rampage yet. So
Oh, wow. Yeah, I
yeah,
didn't
I
get
didn't get
off
to
till
watch it
8.
until.
I didn't get off my work till 8, so I had to wait till 8 to catch it there. But I thought it was an excellent episode. Welcome to everybody who is listening on Amazon Music, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Anchor. And welcome to everybody on YouTube as well. And if you are listening to us and watching on YouTube, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. If it's red, make sure you hit that button and it will turn gray for us. Thank you. So let's get started here. Britt Baker, Jamie Hayter, Tony Storm, and Ruby Soho started off this episode of Rampage. And as far as I could tell, the way they described it, this was the first time a women's match has started any AEW event or
Yeah,
televised event.
they said that on Dynamite, and that's kind of surprising, but I
Yeah.
mean, I guess so.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this match, actually. These girls knew, they were in the spotlight starting up the show, and I think they definitely put on a pretty decent match here.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. I thought this was a really fun match, great match. I loved seeing Jamie Hayter and Tony Storm finally going at it a little bit. I can't
Yeah.
wait for their first round tournament match in the Owen. Of course, then you have Ruby Soho and Britt Baker still got their thing going on. The Baltimore crowd cracked me up because they were hating on Pittsburgh.
Pittsburgh sucks. Pittsburgh sucks. That got me a little bit, but
I know, but
But yeah,
yeah, I enjoyed that.
that was a very loud chant. Pittsburgh and Baltimore are huge rivals in the NFL with the
Yep.
Steelers and the Ravens. So
Yes,
it was
sir.
all in good fun. I understood. um, I love AEW's tag rules here. Did you notice that there were tags being made and nobody had to be holding on to a stupid white string in the corner?
Oh yeah, that's how AW has been operating since day one.
Yeah.
The only team that uses the rope is FTR, and I don't know if you remember. This is like when FTR first signed. They had a promo. This was when Tully was managing them, and it was like the AEW contract signing for FTR, and it was like in their contracts it states that every tag match that FTR is in, there has to be the white rope rule observed.
Really?
Yep, it's a callback. It's back to the pandemic era, but yeah, if you go back and watch the promo, it's like in their contracts, and to this day, I'm pretty sure they've always used the white rope strictly for FTR, no one else.
Huh. I'll have to look into that because I might change my mind about the white rope then, because you know how much I love FTR.
Yeah. Oh, so you don't like the white rope thing?
No, I
Or
don't. I actually enjoyed the way that it was tonight. Uh, I think it was Tony Storm was halfway, like right in the middle of the ropes, and she came all the way over and tagged herself in. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah, the thing about AEW's tag team style is that it's a style that favors letting tag teams kind of get involved in being teams and team
yeah,
offenses, and the lack of white rope makes that a lot easier.
yep,
So AEW as a company, like yeah, they've never used that rope rule except for FTR. They are the one team that like when FTR wrestles, and I'm not 100% sure because it's one of those things that kind of falls into the background and you just kind of appreciate it. But I'm pretty sure to this day, FTR uses the rope every match, but they're the only team that does.
nice,
Like
nice.
the other team facing them also has to use the rope. It's in the contract, but if FTR is not in the match, they're not using the ropes.
I got you. So again, like I said, this was a great match. I love the back and forth between these four girls. I can't wait to see the singles matches between them. I don't know if Ruby's gonna face Britt. They're on the opposite sides of the bracket there. Britt faces the Joker in the beginning, so that's gonna be interesting. But we'll get with that later. Winners of this match are Toni Storm and Ruby Riott. I did not see this coming. I did not see Toni rolling up Britt. I thought it was for sure going to be either Ruby or Jamie taking the pin here, but no, Toni Storm rolls up Britt Baker for the win.
I kind of wanted to see Ruby Soho take the get the pin here on Britt. I think
get
that
it on her. Okay.
Yeah, I think that. Well, if you look back, Britt kind of has Ruby's number, so I felt like booking wise, I would have rather see Ruby win and specifically pin Britt for it. But I mean, no, it was a great match, and I think the right team won this. I think Toni Storm shouldn't lose yet. I mean, I don't know if she's winning the tournament. I need to see who the Joker is before I really pick someone.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's probably definitely up there in terms of people that should probably win. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. All right, next up was one of my favorite things I think that I have ever seen in wrestling. I don't think I have ever seen this happen before. We had Chris Jericho on commentary, and out of nowhere, they announced that Eddie Kingston was on the phone demanding to speak to Chris Jericho. Have you ever seen this before or heard this before in any promotion anywhere?
So this has been done before. It was a thing that was done. I don't remember exactly who did it, but I think Raw used to do it. It happened like once or twice on Monday Night Raw, long time ago. I mean, like we're gonna have to look it up, but I feel like it's been a thing before. But this was so good. This was so good. We're gonna get into it, but tonight was such a great night for promos and for talking. I think the matches were great too, but like, man, tonight was a night where I just felt like almost every time someone spoke, it was a home run. And like,
yeah,
Kingston is so good. Kingston's on fire right now, and he's one of those guys in AEW, and like that's why I love the AEW. They have like the best talkers in the business are in AEW. Like you can't convince me otherwise. Like I think the top 4 or 5 promos in the industry are in this company, and Kingston's one.
There was a part in this where Jericho was smiling and laughing, and you could the way that Eddie was talking, he was watching on TV. I love the way that they did that. Yeah. And Eddie was like, yeah, keep laughing. And you could watch the smile melt away from Jericho's face when Eddie kept talking. And it was even enough to where the wife was like, Jericho doesn't look good. Is he okay? And I was like, he's kind of worried that Eddie's going to murder him. So I don't think he's okay anymore.
Yeah, man. I think Kingston's been doing a phenomenal job at escalating this feud. I think everyone in the feud's done a great job, but Kingston especially, from going from the on-site thing to putting a hit on someone. Yeah. Now he's just straight up saying, I'm going to murder you. Like it's been getting worse and worse to the point where like he's like, we can't like do a wrestling angle anymore. Like this isn't fun. Like I'm going to hurt you. My wife is afraid, and I'm going to make you feel that way. And it's just it was extremely intense. Like I was almost like, I understand why they did this promo over the phone, because they're selling the fact that he like had a fireball thrown in his face.
Yeah.
But like, man, I would have loved to have seen this delivery live, like face to face.
I loved this. I loved every second of it. I was perfectly fine with the phone thing. I was sitting in my seat just like, this is so cool. I had like this huge smile on my face, man.
Oh yeah, it's not complaining, but like, man, if these two guys were in a ring and Kingston said this, like, bro, fucking wild, but still awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. So next up we had Tony Nese and Smart Mark Sterling with a quick promo, and Tony Nese requests a match with I thought he was saying Hook, but all of a sudden I had this feeling. I was like, he's talking about Danhausen, and sure enough, he says Danhausen instead of Hook. So I think we're getting it next week. Tony Nese versus Danhausen.
Yeah, I saw the swerve coming kind of early in the promo where I was like, they're being too vague about this. It's
Yeah.
going to be Danhausen. Um, Super happy. I mean, Danhausen means he's good to go. He's cleared to wrestle, and there's a segment that comes up later tonight that we'll talk about.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, he challenges him, and yeah, it's a nice little promo. Gets the job done. I think Nice is really underrated, and I also love Mark Sterling. So yeah, this was a pretty cool promo.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so next up was Hook versus JD Drake, who he may not look the part, man, but I love JD Drake. This dude can wrestle. He wrestles his ass off.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, Hook just looks damn impressive.
Yeah, I
Like
love Hook, dude.
this guy wins in a completely believable fashion and just looks so good doing it. Like this guy
Yeah.
looks Hook is just amazing.
Yeah, so
Um
JD hit him with that chop, and that thing echoed through the stadium, and even Hook's eyes lit up. He was like, "Holy shit!" And the next chop that JD went for, did you see Hook headbutt his arm in mid chop?
yeah, I did. That
That
was
was one of
awesome.
the coolest. I've never seen anyone do that before. I mean, that was really cool.
Yeah. And then I really love the post match. So Danhausen appears
Yep, yep.
and he proposes Hookhausen, you know? And I like that Danhausen's like, I'm pretty sure I came up with that. Um, it was
Actually,
us
we
who came
came
up
up
with
with
that.
that in Philadelphia.
Yeah. Um, I really love what happens here where it's like Danhausen wants to work with Hook and Hook shoves him. Like Hook was thinking about it and then he shoves him. And then Danhausen, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was like legitimately moved by this. He gifts Hook a bag of chips with a
Do a little
bow
bow
on it.
on it.
And I was like, I'm sitting there watching this and I'm like, bro, how can you not get behind Hookhausen? Like it was like meant to be comedic, but I was like, that's so fucking like nice. That's so sweet. It's such a feel good thing. And then like Hook was like instantly you could see Hook was like, damn, I shouldn't have shoved him.
He was
He
like,
was about to give me a
"Fuck."
bag of chips. And I love this so much. Like I understand like it dips a little into the silly, but I'm all about it. This was so great, and I want Hookhausen to be the tag team champions. I know it's early, but like this segment
Oof.
right here, like before it was like, oh, it's just an unlikely alliance. I'm like, no, this is a family right here. This is gonna be something. I think this might be another slow burn where it takes a little while for it to like really pick up, but like this was great. I loved this.
Yeah, me too. So Hook wins via the red rum reversal. It was a really cool way to get into that red rum position there. I like that. Yeah, the whole Danhausen thing was just great. I love every time I see him now. Some people, they just love him or hate him or just don't get it, but I get it. I love him. Everything about Danhausen. So,
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him wrestle yet, so I'm really excited to see him
oh,
wrestle. Um, it so this match was not like it wasn't on the preview for next week, but it seems like it's happening. I mean, Tony Nese challenged him, Danhausen accepted, but it wasn't billed for Dynamite, so it'll probably be a Rampage match.
okay.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we'll see. All right, so next up was a quick FTR promo where Dax pretty much called himself a nasty bastard and said he's going to bring that back for his match against Adam Cole. I guess essentially they were telling us he's going to be working heel in that match, right?
Maybe, but so there was something a little bit deeper that was put in here in this promo, and I really liked it. And so, Dax is kind of opening up the promo talking about Adam Cole, and he's like, I know that your influences in the industry are strong, or like are strong. Clearly, he's referring to Shawn Michaels. Um, in the beginning of the promo, in terms of Adam Cole's like influences or role model, whatever you want to
Yeah,
use.
yeah.
And then Dax kind of dips into the fact that he's like he's a student under the Hart family. Um, And so I really liked this promo because it sets up like this is a Shawn Michaels style versus Bret Hart style match, um,
Oh
which I think was the intention. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. I would say go
no,
back and look at it.
that's
But I mean,
genius,
I
dude.
think
No, I love it.
but like that's how I read it, you know, because Dax again he's talking about like Shawn's influences, and he can't name Shawn Michaels. He can't do it. The guy runs at NXT, so he can't talk about Shawn Michaels. But I think he's clearly referring to Shawn there, and maybe Hunter as well. I don't know, but you know, and then he dips into the Hart. You know, he's like, we got to do this for the Hart family. I'm going to win this for the Hart family. Like that's how I took it, and I thought that was fucking beautiful.
Yeah,
I think it was
absolutely.
super
That's
thought
genius.
it was super poetic. And also it's kind of what I love about AEW. Like one of the many things I love about AEW is that like these are two guys with two very different styles who are going to go in there and have a banger of a match where like I just feel like WWE's like, and it's why they do all these releases. It's like there's one style. It's the WWE style. You do the WWE style or you don't last. And
Yep.
I think it's kind of lame. I love that AEW has such variety in it that like maybe you don't like all the types of matches AEW puts out. You know, like even if you're someone who doesn't like the flips and stuff, right? Like there's still plenty of guys there like that are going to be grounded and just nasty, and it's great.
Yep, absolutely. All right, next up was Yuka Sakazaki versus Riho. Oh man, I don't know what happened to me during this, but seeing both of these girls, like I'm a huge Riho fan and I was a huge Yuka fan. Seeing them both come out and get in the ring, like I actually teared up again. Like I was like, this match, what is what you know? I don't know. It was weird, but I was super happy to see these two. Riho looked great in black gear. That was the first time we'd ever
Yeah.
seen her not wearing white.
Yeah, she was back in black. I liked it. It was a
Yeah.
good look.
Um,
Um,
Go ahead.
you know, so this is like a totally minor thing, and I don't I like Yuka Sakazaki, but like I hate her entrance music. Like it annoys the shit out of me. And like I get it, like it's just the style and stuff, but I like it's so annoying. And Justin Roberts did it no favors today.
I'm
He's like Yuka Sakazaki, and I'm
That's
like,
why I did it too.
I know you did. And it's like I like her as a wrestler. I think she's great. But like that music, because once it like picks up into like the main portion where it's just like over, it's like like I'm just like no.
I'm
Like
gonna have to
I'm
go back and
sorry.
listen to her music because I've never even noticed it. You know, it was just like it's like background for me.
See, I'm a big entrance guy too, so I love entrances. And it's
Yeah.
like I'm the kind of guy like I have Amazon Music and like I have wrestling themes on my my Amazon Music. It's not the only thing I listen to, but like I will listen to good wrestling themes, both AW and Fed.
Yeah, I got
Um,
you.
but it's like, oh, I just don't like that entrance theme, and it's such a nitpicky thing because she's such a great wrestler.
Oh,
But it's
dude,
like
this match was so good. The one
this is
spot
really
that I
good.
wrote down was a Yuki spot where Riho kind of tried to knock her off the top ropes, and she did a cartwheel across the rope, like as if somebody would like tight walk the ropes. She did a cartwheel off the rope. It was incredible. I loved it.
Yeah, there was another cool spot off the top rope. It was kind of like a I guess it would be an avalanche facebuster. I guess it's called. I don't know, but it's
Yeah,
like
yeah,
uh, Sakazaki's got Riho up on the top rope, and you know she falls backwards, and Riho just face plants on the mat. I thought that was
yeah.
great spot. I really liked the ending too. I liked the finish of this match. I thought it was very interesting, and it also kept both looking strong. So they're
Yep.
kind of going blow to blow, brawling it out, throwing punches. Rio kind of takes a hit and just kind of stumbles back for a second, takes a second to regroup, and then just like punches Yuka again. And Yuka goes to punch her, and then Rio flips it around for a pin, picks up the win, and is the final woman to qualify for the Owen. And yeah, this was a great match. I had a blast watching this match.
Yeah, me too. I'm so happy to see both of these girls back. Uh, can't wait to see what goes forward. Now that Japan has kind of opened its doors back up, all these girls can start coming back over.
Yeah, maybe we'll see Lulu Pencil again.
Yeah, Lulu. All right, so next up we had a really really good Sean Spears promo on Wardlow. He kept calling Wardlow Superman, and I was like, let me guess, the chair is your kryptonite, right? And I'm pretty sure that's what he was insinuating, is that he or the chair was going to be Wardlow's kryptonite. But I think he's going to be sadly mistaken. He's going to smash Wardlow with the chair, and he's going to no sell it. I'm almost positive.
Yeah, I thought this was an excellent promo. It's like I said earlier, the promos tonight were just on
Great.
point. Just I think each promo really killed it tonight. Like I think the worst promo on the show was still like excellent. This is a really good night for the promos.
Yeah, for sure. There was one that I wasn't too keen on, but it was just a small part of a bigger promo. But we'll get to that here in just a second, actually. So yeah, I love the Sean Spears' stuff here. He's the kryptonite, but I think he's going to be sadly mistaken when he faces him here. So next up was a Dan Lambert in the ring promo. He was there with the Men of the Year. I thought he was going to play the babyface here for a moment because he is from Baltimore, but as soon as he acknowledged that fact and got the crowd to try to cheer him for a moment, he insulted the crap out of him, and like a good heel, got him to boo the shit out of him again. The bad, or not the bad, but the promo that I wasn't a big fan of tonight came here with Ethan Page. Normally I love this promo, but I feel like he's done it like 4 times now in this same feud, and he started yelling at the camera a little too much for me in this one. So this one missed me just a bit, but overall this whole segment I thought was still great.
Wow, that's super surprising. I really loved it, and I think I hear the criticism, and I agree with it to an extent, but I don't think I'm at the point yet where it negatively affects my view on the promo. I really love Dan
Yeah.
Lambert here. I think that Dan is an old school wrestling fan. He's a guy that's been watching wrestling for probably like 50 years, 40 years, whatever it is. And like he just he's so good because he keeps it so simple. He's a
Yeah.
student of the game who gets promos. And like this was a perfect example. He wore the Baltimore Orioles shirt. That's their
Yep.
baseball team. He mentioned he was from Baltimore. He acknowledged that he wasn't trying to get a cheap pop, which like that's the McFoley gimmick. If you say that you're not trying to do a cheap pop, it's a cheap pop. And then instantly flipping that switch and just shitting on Baltimore. Like that's expert level stuff right here. Like
Oh yeah.
Tony Khan was so smart to bring Dan Lambert in, and I know people hate him, and like that's the point.
That's the
But like
point. Yep.
that's the point, and like this guy is he kills it. Like he absolutely crushes it here. I really liked the Ethan Page promo though, although I found it interesting that they called off the mixed tag match. I wonder like if there's a reason for that, or if it's not actually getting called off, or
Yeah, I
maybe
don't
they don't
think it
think
is,
Paige
but
is ready. I don't know. Um,
let me say this here.
but
So Ethan Page's promo on a standalone by itself, without taking anything else into account, was actually fire. Don't get me wrong. He's amazing on the mic. I'm just saying that I feel like he has done this almost 3 or 4 weeks in a row on the same, he's to the same people. So that was my only problem with it. His promo alone was fire. That's he's great.
yeah. Oh, I think the justification is that he hasn't gotten his hands on Sammy yet, and he's not happy about that
Yeah.
because Sammy did talk about his daughter. And that's something he mentions in this promo. It's something that's very important to him is his daughter. So,
Yeah.
um, I get your critique, and I get it. I don't disagree with it either. I just don't think it's at that point yet where it's been repetitive.
Yep, I got you.
Um, but yeah,
So,
I thought this was a really good segment from Scorpio too, and Frankie Kazarian comes out and
yes.
he says, you be a man of your word. You promised me the first shot, and Scorpio Sky kind of like, yeah, I'm going to be a fighting champion, and you're getting your shot next week, and we do have that set for Rampage, which we'll talk about. But I do you think that this team is gonna break up, or do you think that they're gonna keep this dynamic? Because I'm kind of intrigued by this tweener dynamic they have going on right now.
So I see Scorpio looking like he's gonna go solo, or possibly bring SCU back for the end of Frankie's career here. I don't know if Frankie's that close to being done or not, but it definitely feels like Scorpio and Ethan are going to be facing each other for that title at some point. Um, just I don't know. Something about it makes me feel like Scorpio's not going to be with them for much longer, especially the way he pointed at the title on Lambert's waist now that it came back. I didn't even notice it until he pointed it out, and it pissed me off. And he was like, that needs to go back in your trophy case where it was supposed to be. And I was like, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think it's a really interesting dynamic, and I don't like they very well could just go the traditional like this is them breaking up thing. Um, and I wouldn't be disappointed by it. I would understand it. I think that everyone involved will be fine. But I would kind of like I'm kind of curious. Like, I would roll with it. I would do this dynamic where it's like a faction, a trios, if you would, trios titles, um, if that's happening. Like, let's do a trios of Men of the Year and Frankie Kazarian, and like let it be this thing where Kazarian and Ethan Page don't trust each other and they don't
Yeah.
like each other. One's a face and one's a heel, and then kind of have Scorpio Sky be like the neutral between the two. Like, he'll turn around and be, shiny, clean baby face with Kazarian, but then when Ethan Page starts getting down to some heel shit,
Yeah, and I
maybe
gotta
Scorpio Sky
there's
partakes of
not
that. I think
very
that would be really
many
cool.
there's not very many can they coexist storylines here, so I think it is part of wrestling, so I think it's due for one. It's a good point.
I would do it. I'm just watching this dynamic, and I think it's a really fascinating dynamic.
Yeah.
That being said, I mean, the traditional way you would go in pro wrestling is a breakup here. Um, so I don't know, but we'll see what happens. I think either way, we're in for some really good, wrestling with a lot of really talented guys.
I guess the
Here.
Bucks and Red Dragon are kind of can they coexist, but you know. All right, so next up was Ricky Stark on the mic here, and he starts saying, if Jungle Boy was in front of me, I would blah blah blah, and before he could get it out, what do you know? Jungle Boy's there in front of him. So he walks up and he kind of just slaps Jungle Boy right in the face. I thought he was going to be a little bit of a coward for a second, but nah, Ricky Starks is the man, dude. He walked right over to him and just slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, in my opinion, I thought this was the weakest segment of the night. I mean, it did its job. Um, I don't know. I think that they do this a lot on Rampage where Starks and Jericho are always on commentary, so they just kind of see it as like an excuse to, move forward the storyline via the announce desk, which it works most times. Um, I thought this was a little silly here, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't the biggest fan. Like, if you asked me what the worst thing on this show tonight was, I would say this, and it wasn't awful. It's just okay. I mean, like, why did Jungle Boy wait until the end of Rampage to come out? And like, was he standing by? Was he standing there waiting for Starks to talk about? I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe I think I'm getting really nitpicky, but I was like, it didn't vibe with me. I was like, all right, well,
Yeah,
I
I think
just
it was too quick to even try to vibe. It was just kind of like bang, bang. There he was holding up the FTW belt, and
yeah,
Taz
like
was like,
there
put
wasn't
that
really a
down. Then it was it.
yeah, like there wasn't really a fight. Like they oh, this Wednesday it's gonna be these two guys, and Stark's like, if he was here right now, I would do this, and he's like, well, I'm here, and then he slapped him, and then he threw him, and he ran away, and then he grabbed the belt, and it was over.
Yeah, it was what it was. It did its job to let us know they're having a match, and I mean, I'm excited for the match. I love both dudes, so it is what it is.
I would have rather the time just been spent like with a quick little like Alex Marvez interview or like
Yeah.
like what I would have done with the same amount of time is have Jungle Boy get interviewed real quick and Jungle Boy saying like the champs like coming home like Belt's coming home with me or something like that. And then Starks can cut to the commentary table and Starks is kind of like shitting
Yeah.
on him. I think that would have been a better way to do it. But I don't know. It was fine.
Yeah, no worries. All right, so next up was the main event, Takashita versus Jay Lethal. This match was great. I think this was the first time the wife had gotten a chance to see some Japanese wrestling. I do believe this guy is from DDT Wrestling. Takashita.
Yeah, I believe he is.
Yep. So he's from that company that Kenny Omega helped make the deal with. So that's awesome. And I thought he had an absolute banger of a match with Jay Lethal. Showed off some of that Japanese style. Lethal just looks great as always. You know, every match he has looks good. He always makes people look good. Did you see the jumping, flipping shoulder tackle, as Excalibur called it?
No, I might have missed it.
So he basically springs off the ropes and he just does like the John Cena shoulder tackle, you know, where he kind of just hits you with his shoulder. But he did a front flip with it, and it was freaking gorgeous.
Cool.
Yeah, I was just, that was my favorite spot of the match for, and you know, for such a simple move, I thought it was really, really nice.
Yeah, all in all, I really enjoyed this match. This was kind of like the perfect match to watch on like a Friday night, where it was just a fun wrestling match.
Yeah.
You know, post match, Jay Lethal wins, and Sanjay Dutt, Satnam Singh, and Lethal are, you know, about to commence a beatdown here. And best friends make the save.
Yeah, that was an awkward one. I was kind of confused at why they made the save. Is there something that I missed that they're involved somehow?
Yeah, we were there. Remember, Joe was fighting Trent, and
yeah, okay.
they came out, and then they were fighting Trent. So then best friends saved Trent, and so they're kind of, I guess, they're feuding with them.
That makes sense now. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, well, they also made it clear that Joe, I guess Orange Cassidy enlisted Joe's help, because like Cassidy was on the apron, and then he lured Satnam Singh over, and then Joe came out. But yeah, so that was the end of the match and the end of the show, I believe. Yeah, it was the end of the show.
Well, there was one more spot I wanted to mention where Lethal and Takashita were both up on the top rope, which I thought they were gonna do a Spanish Fly, which you know is one of my favorite moves. But Takashita just hit him with a lariat, kind of like just a huge clothesline from hell, just on the top rope. And it made Lethal do a full backflip. That was one of the coolest things I've seen in a while too. You know, this match was great.
Yeah, I remember that spot. That was really cool. Yeah, it was a great match. It was a great episode of Rampage. I would prefer a 7 o'clock time slot. I think that would be a lot better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was just because of the hockey game. There was some hockey playoffs going on, or I'm not sure if it was playoffs, but there was a hockey game going on.
I think it was playoffs. Actually.
Yeah, I think it is.
Yeah, between that and basketball, it's just like, ugh.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of playoffs going on right now. But yeah, no, this is a great show and really fun Rampage.
Yeah, absolutely. What do you got for news for us this week?
All right. Well, do you want me to go over the preview for next week first, or do you want me to go over the news first?
Yeah, let's do a quick preview first. There you go.
All right. So we have the FTW Championship on Dynamite. It's going to be Ricky Starks defending his FTW Championship against Jungle Boy.
Oh yeah.
We got the contract signing with MJF and Wardlow. This is going to be a contract signing for a match, assuming it's going to be at Double or Nothing, and there's going to be some stipulations. We're going to have CM Punk versus John Silver in John Silver's hometown of Long Island. We're going to have the Jericho Appreciation Society victory speech. And the graphic for this is amazing, Matt, because Matt Menard's face is he just loves making these fucking crazy faces, and it is a real treat. If you have a chance, you should look up the graphic. It's great.
I'll have to look at that. Those two guys, I gotta mention, those two guys are so nice. It's not even funny. I got to meet them as well at the thing, but I didn't get a picture or autograph with them. They were just kind of chilling, and they talked to me for a minute. Those dudes are so nice.
Yep. And then, so Rampage, we have Scorpio Sky defending his TNT title against Frankie Kazarian. And then the Owen tournament starts next week, and we have 4 matches lined up for that: 2 men's, 2 women's. On Wednesday, we're gonna have Tony Storm facing Jamie Hayter.
Oh yeah.
We're gonna have Jeff Hardy versus Darby Allin, which that's just gonna be a special match. Like, that's just excellent.
Yeah, that's gonna be a banger. We hope Jeff just, you know, he's all nice and healed up and everything, puts on another banger. That That's gonna be great.
We're going to have the modern day Brett versus Sean, Dax Harwood versus Adam Cole on Dynamite.
Man, since you mentioned that comparison, or that, that possibility of it's gonna be like a Brett versus Sean match, I really can't wait for this now. Like I wanted to see it before, but once you pointed that out to me, now I want to see this a lot.
So you know how I would end this match if Adam Cole wins? I would have it be where, like, so Dax puts Adam Cole in the sharpshooter, and, like, he's writhing in pain. He grabs the ropes. They do the break. Dax Harwood goes in to attack Cole. Cole pushes him back, and when Hangman turns back around, Cole just super kicks him and wins. That's how I'd book it. And, that's fantasy booking. I don't think it's going to actually go down that way. That's how I would do it, if Cole was to win.
Yeah.
I think that would be really neat. And then also on Friday, we're going to have an Owen, not qualifier, just a tournament match. Riho versus Ruby Soho.
That should be really good.
Yeah, that is going to be really good. We also got the entire bracket for the women's match, or the women's tournament. Like I said, it's Toni Storm, Jamie Hayter, Riho, and Ruby Soho. We're going to get Red Velvet and Hikaru Shida.
Ooh.
And then we're going to get Britt Baker versus a Joker.
Wow. So real quick, did you hear? I don't know how true this is, but I saw today that Hikaru Shida had a match the other night in Japan that was an hour and a half long.
Wow.
Yeah, I'll have to look this up, and if it's true, I'm gonna find a link to the match and I'll send it to you, because if that's true, I gotta at least see some of it.
Yeah, man, you know me. I'm a big Hikaru Shida fan. I think she's phenomenal. I think she's one of the best women's wrestlers AEW has. Love her to death. I think she's great.
Yeah. If I find it, I'll send it to you.
Who do you think this Joker is for the women's?
All right, so for this women's Joker, I actually didn't think of this until today when I heard that Candice LeRae's contract has expired with the E. And she was not released. Her contract has expired. So she could show up tomorrow if she wanted to, just like Adam Cole when his expired. So now I'm thinking this is going to be Candice LeRae, because that ties into my men's Joker as well.
So I agree with you. I think if Candice LeRae, and Johnny Gargano are a package deal, obviously. I think that if one of them is the one Joker, I think the other is the other Joker.
Yep.
That being said, the same way I have multiple picks for the men, if I were to go with a women pick other than Candice LeRae, two that come to mind are Tegan Knox and Athena.
Yep, agreed. If I was going to pick somebody other than Candice LeRae, I thought it was going to be Athena before this. Formerly known as Ember Moon, if you guys don't know, but she now goes by Athena. That was my pick
Tegan Knox
until today.
I like Tegan Knox. I forget what she goes by now, but I like her. And if I had a choice between any of the three of them, I would go with Tegan.
Now, I could be wrong. Are her and Nixon Newell the same person or no?
I don't know.
I think I was, for some reason, that's jumping in my head as that's who her real name, but I could be completely off.
The name Nixon Newell admittedly isn't ringing a bell. Okay. Maybe that's her real name. I don't know.
Yeah. I have to look it up.
Yeah, I mean, I think that matters. And then in the men's, I mean, like I said last week, I think it could either be Gargano, it could be Claudia.
Yeah.
Or the return of Kenny Omega.
Yeah, those are two other good ones. Like you said last week, the Kenny Omega pick gives it a chance to finish that tournament with Kenny Omega versus Adam Cole, and that would be incredible.
Yeah. So we'll have to see. I'm excited. I always love having these jokers, and it keeps things really exciting and really interesting. All
right, so real quick, Tegan Knox is Nixon Newell. That's another one of her names. Her real name is Stephanie Newell, so I believe I was correct. Yes.
There we go.
All right. What do you got up for us next here?
All right. So let's talk about Stu Grayson for a little bit.
Yes. Stu.
So Stu made an official tweet today, kind of clearing the air on his contract status. He said, and I quote, "On April 30th, my contract with AEW expired. Best of luck to everyone working for AEW, our great production and medical team, and of course every man and woman who steps into the ring. And to my Dark Order family, I hope the world will soon see what you are truly capable of."
Yeah, man, I thought they were just negotiating, or if possibly this was going to play into some sort of storyline, but no, it's just another reality of, business is business, and they couldn't come to an agreement. So, Stu, thank you very much. I'm a huge Dark Order fan. I thought he was great, but I hope he does excellent elsewhere. So we'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, I'm a really big fan of Stu Grayson. We talked about it last episode. I think that this is what happens when you let the Dark Order do nothing. It sucks, and I hope it's not an indication of the rest of the guys in the Dark Order, because I like everyone in Dark Order, and I think everyone in Dark Order has a spot on AEW. But that being said, I can understand Tony Khan not wanting to pay Stu the money that, admittedly, if you're looking at Stu as just a standalone wrestler in a vacuum, like, he's worth paying. He's worth the money. But the problem is that right now the Dark Order, not even right now, for about 13 months, the Dark Order has been a generic babyface faction on Dark and on Elevation. I get it. I love Brody Lee, and I think it's really cool that anytime, Brody Jr., -1 can make it to the show, they put him out there with Dark Order, and I think that's really fucking cool, and I think it's awesome of Tony Khan to do, but this is where we're at. This faction has done nothing for a year. They've, they don't want to do anything where they could come off as heels. Their babyface routine got stale. They're not even on BTE anymore. I mean, barely. It just sucks to see. It's not like they're not even getting TV time. They're getting time on Dark and Elevation, which, I know Fed fans are like, oh, Dark and Elevation are just YouTube shows. No, those are meaningful product. And I'm not shitting on Dark or Elevation when I say this, but the problem is that they're not doing anything on Elevation. They're going out there and they're having these no story matches, and they're just winning these matches, and they're crowd pleasers, which is cool, but there's no direction there. Yeah. And I think Stu's the first casualty of that. I think that's a real shame. It really upsets me, because I think Stu and Uno were a phenomenal tag team.
Yeah, I agree, actually. They've been a tag team since before AEW was even a thing, so I really hope
they were like the Video Game Brothers or something like that.
Yeah, I really hope this doesn't affect Evil Uno's relationship with them at all, but I think everything will work out. I do, like you were saying, they were a little stale. I do think that the Dark Order needed a little something trimmed off the edges, and I think the opportunity just kind of presented itself with the contract situation there. So I hope they do something with them soon, and they're called the Dark Order. I don't want to see them as faces all the time being goofy. The Dark Order should be some fucking evil dudes.
Yeah, it's not a great look. It's not very entertaining at this point either.
Yeah.
But I hope Stu's happy. I hope Stu does what he needs to do. I mean, maybe he does some time in the Fed. I mean, and gets a paycheck. I get it.
I would be super happy.
Yeah, so I wouldn't knock him for that. And here's my thing, right? I fucking hate Cody Rhodes for doing that. Right? It's no secret.
Yeah.
I put my Cody Rhodes t-shirts away. I got rid of them. I do not have them anymore. They're not in my rotation. They are up in my attic, which I never go to. They don't exist in my everyday life anymore.
Thought you would have burned him like a LeBron jersey, man.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I don't play with fire. I'm not a fire guy. So for me, just throwing them in a box and putting them up in the attic that I'll probably never touch till we sell the house or move out, But it's like, and at that point, they'll be in pretty good shape. So I'll just sell them in 20 years and maybe make a couple bucks. You never know. Vintage AEW Cody Rhodes shirts. But like the difference between Cody and Stu, like if Stu ends up in WWE, like while I will have no sympathy for him when he suffers from WWE booking and WWE creative and WWE, but I'm like it's the same with Kevin Owens. I understand getting the bag and taking care of your family.
Exactly.
I get it. Totally get it. Difference between him and Cody, and I'm just going to give some justification as to why it's different for me, is Stu Grayson didn't sit up there and, on a platform for 7 years and say, fuck WWE. Like we're creating this. I'm going to be the throne breaker. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Don't be a fucking hypocrite. Like don't create a fan base, and take advantage of people who feel a certain sort of way, and then on the drop of a dime, turn on them. Stu never did that, so it's different.
No, it's completely different. Cody had already obtained his bag. Cody was already making 7 figures, more than likely. Stu's not even close to that. So if he were to accept a job with the E, I'd be proud of him. You know what I mean? I'd be like, good job, man. You made it to the big leagues. It is what it is. So
that being said, I don't know if they're gonna want him. I don't think he wrestles the WWE style.
No, he would go to NXT or even NXT UK more than likely.
I mean, honestly, I wouldn't be surprised with all the guys jumping ship on Impact. I wouldn't be surprised if Impact pays him the money and he goes there.
Yeah, he would actually fit in with the Violent by Design team. So, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, because a lot of Impact guys are leaving right now. There's a lot of them are leaving. I think
Willie Mack just left.
Yeah, that was who it was. His contract just expired, and apparently the Good Brothers are going to be out in the summer, and Morrissey's going to be out soon, and a lot of people are leaving. So they're going to need to spend some money to bring some people in. And I think Stu Grayson would be a really nice fit for Impact.
Yeah, that'd be a big pickup for them, actually.
Yeah, I think so. Like, I hope he makes his money wherever he goes.
Oh yeah, he'll do fine. He's great.
Yeah. So let's wrap up with some AEW ratings. So why don't you talk about your experience, Jeff?
All right, so all over Twitter, of course, Dave Meltzer and Brian Alvarez released the numbers, which was it was in the 800,000s for Dynamite. And of course, the E-drones come out in force to, make fun of them for dropping below 900,000. But it's just obvious that it's the NBA playoffs, and we have hockey playoffs as well. I didn't see them saying a word last Friday when SmackDown was at like 1.5 million compared to the 2.4 million the week before. Like, they try to say that NBA watchers don't watch AEW, but then they say that they do watch the E. Like, come on, there's no point in even looking at the ratings for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of comical to, it's just these things happen even in WWE. Like, when football comes around, Monday Night Raw, their ratings plummet. It's just the way it's always been.
Yeah.
And, you can't look at those numbers and be like, you got to take them with a grain of salt. Like, there's a lot going into that. And, even regardless of the number, AEW is doing just fine. The executives at Warner are clearly happy with the product. They have a whole nother show coming to TBS. Like, people look at that million number and they really kind of get caught up on that million number. And the thing people have to understand is that AEW has been around for 3 years. WWE has been around for 45, 50, over 50 years.
Yep.
God, at this point, probably closer to 60 years. Like, this company, yes, they're averaging over 1 million, like 1.5 million for their shows. You know, Monday Night Raw has been going on as long as I've been alive.
Yeah, same.
Like, if Monday Night Raw was drawing under 1 million, then just fucking shut it down. And it got close. It got really close. You know? And so, like, I just, you gotta be fair. Like, if you're looking at a product like AEW, like, yes, AEW is in the now. I think it's the better product, but it doesn't have the prestige that WWE has. And like, and that is true. That is factual.
Yep.
You know, WWE has a legacy content, you know, that it can rely on. You know, I was at work today and these guys were telling a story about, I think it was a guy on a motorcycle or something. He got like slammed off the motorcycle while he was sitting on it or something. And, you know, they were like, it was like the WWE stuff.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect them to, you know, especially not wrestling folk, I wouldn't expect them to jump on, you know, and mention AEW. WWE's been around for 50 years. Like these guys who work with me, like they were like watching all that stuff when they were a kid, you know? So it's like, it's kind of laughable when the Fed drones come out and look at these AEW ratings and it's like, oh, look at this. It's like, yeah, the company that's been around for 3 years is getting real close to the numbers of a company that's been around for 55 years. It's not good, you know?
It's just, everybody's obsessed with these numbers, man. Just ignore the ratings, dude. I just look, was the show good? Yeah, no, you know, did they just sell out a 14,000 seat United Center in like 30 seconds today? Yeah, they did. So, you know,
well,
I think everybody's happy.
I hear you. I do think that the ratings matter. I do think that they have merit. More so the demos is what matters, because the demos show you where your audience is at. Yeah. You know, and WWE, like, yes, they bring in that 1.5 million, and a lot of them are 55 plus.
And, you know, they just announced that they're going to be having this new AEW show. They gave a big list of possible names for it, you know. I think this is a result of they were actually happy with everything that the AEW's been doing ratings-wise. And I actually think they were even happy with that Roads to the Top show. So much that since Cody's gone, I think they immediately were like, we need to replace this show with something else, you know?
Yeah, I wonder how much of that show they had filmed, because they were doing a season 2.
Yeah. I don't know if they were, because the way that he just left and went over there, I don't know if there was anything like solidly planned for a season 2.
I think I had read that, like, because when the season 1 wrapped up, it was before the contract stuff kind of hit the fan. So I believe that was the plan, was for there to be a season 2.
Oh yeah, it was probably planned, but I don't know if anybody ever hit any pen to paper type stuff, because yeah, I don't know.
Perhaps. Yeah, I don't know. But I would say, you know, definitely pay attention to the ratings and the demos and stuff like that. But at the same time, you got to understand that, like, you know, we live in a world where things happen, and the AEW audience are going to watch the show. And the thing is, we talk about these DVR numbers as well. Like these numbers, they exist. The ratings and the demos don't take into account DVR numbers. You know, both of us watched Rampage on a delay tonight via DVR. You know, our numbers aren't part of that Rampage number. So, you know, take it with a grain of salt, but at the same time, definitely pay it some mind.
Yep, I got you. All right, you got anything else for us?
No, the Sixers won, you know, so that was nice.
Nice. I do have one more thing that just popped into my head here. Darius Martin, we just found out what actually happened to him for his new leg injury, is what they're calling it. Apparently he was in a really bad car accident. I can't pinpoint who it was that mentioned it, but I saw it today on Twitter. One of the other wrestlers had, mentioned that he was involved in a bad car accident. That's what happened to him. So hope he gets well. Right, glad it wasn't an in-ring injury, but I really do hope he gets better soon.
That's right. I did see that today.
Yeah.
I don't remember, you're right. I don't know who said it, but somebody said that.
Yeah, but it's really it's very reassuring that it didn't happen in the ring. because I was really hoping that he wasn't going to be like an injury prone type guy that he keeps injuring his legs, because his brother's style he's got to keep up. But I do hope he gets well, and I'm glad this wasn't an in-ring injury.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, I'm excited for next week. We start tournaments. Again,
Yes.
big tournament guy. I always get into tournaments, so got 2 of them starting next week, so that'll be fun.
Oh yeah, and I can't wait. I hope we get the men's first with the Joker. I hope we see Johnny Gargano. I think, I don't know if anybody will put it together like we are, but I really hope it'll be both of them. That would just be really cool for them to both be the Joker card.
Yeah, well, I think AEW fans are smart. I think if Johnny Gargano comes out as one, I think you see Candice LeRae as the other. You just kind of assume it.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. Oh, I'm excited too, man.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun. It's a very fun company to follow. Very fun hobby.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. So then, this has been episode 31 of the Broken Tables podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider giving us a like and subscribe, or a follow, depending on where you find us. Thank you for listening to us on YouTube, Spotify, Amazon Music, Google Podcasts, and Anchor. You can follow us on Twitter at Broken Table Show, or on Facebook and Instagram at the Broken Tables Podcast. We go live on YouTube following every single AEW Dynamite, Rampage, and even pay-per-views. We hope to see you again, but until next time, see you later.
Right on. Peace.